I don't think Jude is a number 10. And before you jump in the comments, hear me out. This is not hate. I'm a big fan of Jude. I've been watching him since his Dortmund days, and I genuinely was happy when Real Madrid signed him. But even back then, I never thought we were buying a number 10. I thought we were buying a number 8. To me, Jude has always been a ball carrier, a kind of midfielder who wins balls from deep, drives through one or two players, glides past another one, and then releases it at the right moment. The reason I'm talking about this is I've been watching Real Madrid, and to be honest, the team is really bad right now. And the more I watch, the more I start to doubt that Jude is actually a number 10. At times, I feel like Gula does that job a lot more better than Jude. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Jude was incredible in his first season. But the real question is, was he actually playing as a number 10? This was the attacking structure you usually saw from Real Madrid that season. Injuries, suspensions, and rotations meant players like Nacho, Modric, and Lucas Vazquez came in and out of the team. But they didn't really change how Real Madrid played. They were reinforcements, they were not structural changes. The truth is, under Ancelotti, Real Madrid didn't really play with the rigid system. What Real Madrid had instead were elite players. Players that they try to find, players that they trust and give freedom to. In midfield, that player was Toni Kroos, and in attack, it was Vinicius. For most of the season, Real Madrid played with two forwards. Jude was positioned right behind them. Behind Jude sat a midfield three of Kroos, Tchouaméni, and Valverde. There was a stretch that season when Vini was injured, and we saw a lot of Joselu alongside Jude and Rodrigo. During that period, we often saw something of a 4-4-2, with Jude and Joselu playing as the two main strikers. But for the majority of that season, this is the structure that Real Madrid lined up with. Vini and Rodrigo are both wingers. They both play wide, especially Vini. That entire left side belongs to him. That's his territory. Other players join him there, especially now that Mbappe has arrived. But the left wing is still Vinicius's domain. On the right, Rodrigo tends to drift inside rather than hold the width. That meant that the responsibility often fell to Dani Carvajal. People don't talk about how good Dani Carvajal was that season. He wasn't just an outlet, he was a genuine threat. He ran at defenders and delivered dangerous crosses and cutbacks, and he even chipped in with some goals. His absence lately alongside Toni Kroos has been massive for us. This is how Real Madrid attack. On the right, you have Dani Carvajal, who provided with Valverde as his outlet. He would either cross early or drive towards the byline. And on the left, Vini isolates his opponents 1v1, and he would either drive towards the byline or try to cut back with his right foot and take a shot. This setup created a lot of space in central areas, and that's the space that Bellingham occupied. Crucially, he was playing ahead of a midfield three. He wasn't involved heavily in the build-up play, and he also didn't have the same amount of defensive responsibilities he has right now. Jude and Rodrigo would often take turns dropping in between the lines, occupying the box and attacking the spaces in between defenders. This is why I question the idea that Jude was a number 10 that season. To me, he didn't look like one. He looked like a false 9. At times, even a pure number 9. And you can see it clearly in his goals. A lot of them are classic striker goals. Jude scored 19 league goals that season, and 18 of them came from inside the box. Some people would say that he only scored tap-ins, he is lucky, the ball just keeps falling to him. But that wasn't luck, that's positioning, that's anticipation, that's reacting quicker than everyone else. That is exactly how a striker plays. Jude actually reminds me a lot of Paul Pogba. Everyone who knows me knows how much I love Paul Pogba. He's big, he's strong, he's technically gifted, and an excellent dribbler. And he's surprisingly nimble for a guy his size. Maybe Jude isn't as naturally gifted a passer as Paul Pogba, but that doesn't mean he's not a good passer. The problem is that when people see those attributes, they immediately label a player as a number 10. We saw that with Paul Pogba at United. People kept on saying, oh, he needs to be closer to the goal. But the best version of Paul Pogba I've ever seen was at the 2018 World Cup, playing deeper with N'Golo Kante by his side and Anthony Griezmann ahead of them. And so far, I haven't seen enough evidence that Jude is truly a number 10, not for Real Madrid and not for England. Yes, there are games where he is brilliant in that role, but for most of the time, it feels like he's trying to do too much. He's everywhere, constantly searching for his place on the pitch. Jude is incredibly talented. For me, he is the best midfielder in the world. And that's exactly why I expect a lot more from him. Not just goals, but influence and control over games. Right now, he isn't doing that consistently. And I think it's because he's being asked to play in a wrong position.